Hello, everyone. Thanks for watching. I'm Sarah, and this is Renata, and she has been kind enough to offer me a little bit of her time today to share her experience during her yoga teacher training program with me. So, hi, Renata. How are you?
Hello, how are you? I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for calling me here.
So one of the special things about Renata was that she didn't know me at all when she first signed up for this yoga teacher training. She literally just Googled it, and her intuition said, that's it. She's the teacher for you. And then she showed up to my studio one day. We set up an appointment to meet, and that's it. She just signed up following her intuition. She'd never done yoga with me. She's never talk to me about how you used to practice yoga before you found me. It was like YouTube or something, wasn't it?
Yes, there was YouTube and basically only YouTube. And I did try the base, like beginning classes on YouTube. And I liked it, but and second of all, like we watched a nice movie. It was about soccer woman. She followed her dream. And it was the day that I cried so hard, and my husband couldn't understand what's happened that day. Why am I crying like a baby? And I didn't want to talk about it. And then he got out of me and he said, "You have to tell me what's going on with you." I said, "My biggest dream was always being a teacher, either a gym teacher, to do something with kids or people." And he said, "Okay, if you need to do this, you want to follow your dream, so find something." And I said, "You know what? I would like to still continue and find out about more about yoga." So what I did, I went on the Google and I said, okay, yoga schools around my area, right? So of course you, Sarah, were on the website. There was the Renzi and other places around, and right away I said, no, I have to try this place. So as soon as I went for your interview, and I just fell in love, and I had no hesitation, and I signed up right away.
So to me, that's always just fascinating because it takes a lot of courage to really follow your spirit, without fear, and just know in your heart what it is that you need to do. So good for you. Okay, so now you're in the program, and how was the journey? What was your experience going through the 9-month yoga teacher training program?
I think, first of all, I did not know much at all, nothing about yoga, because as soon as I started working with you and going to those classes twice a week, I said, "Oh my gosh, there's so much to learn." That was my first thing, and I was so scared that I have no knowledge. I really didn't know nothing about yoga, but through this experience, I said this is all worth it, because I love the program. And even there was program, I remember, on Sunday, and everybody was asking me, "You have to leave on Sunday to school?" And I had no problem. I could be on the beach, you could go to the pool. But you know what, when you start this program, you try for 2 months and you're gonna say you don't have regrets no more. You don't have, I have no regrets at all, and I'll come back in a minute, because you gain so much of your knowledge, of your vibration. Sarah always raised you to the point that on a higher standard, and the practice is wonderful. There's so much to say, because
What was your most aha moment? Was it philosophy, or was it the anatomy, or was it the lifestyle? What do you think was the one thing that you were like, oh, that was so mind-blowing, eye-opening?
I think the practice. I love the practice, the way you kept that, everything had to be so on time, and everything was so wonderful, how the warm-up looked like, and even spiritual practice. I loved it. Even you knew when you sat on the mat, you knew you need to be grounded. You need time for yourself, even if you needed 10 minutes. And I truly loved it, because how I was always like a rocket coming to the place and ready to rock and roll, and ready to practice. No, you have to calm down. You have your space. You kept the space very secret, and you took the time to practice, and that's what I love the most. And
so to me, that sacred space is one of the most important things about the practice, right? Because the practice
yes,
what you give it. And if you approach it with respect and sacredness, that is what you're going to get out of the most. And what you bring up is the ability of a teacher to see every student and kind of see what they need, because the medicine is different for everyone, right?
Yeah.
And we're
Yep.
trying to find this place of balance. And so for you, it was that you were really excited to come, and I would say, okay, take a breath, calm down. But then sometimes it's the opposite. A student, like, it's just a little lethargic, and it takes them a lot of effort to get. And then for them, the prescription is different. The practice is a little bit different because it needs to be holistic. Okay. How did going through the training change like your life on a daily basis, like both big picture and small picture? At
The
work.
biggest picture, yes, the biggest picture for me was like I used to always say yes. I didn't care much about myself. There was always, anybody asked me for help, I was always there. I always said yes. You need me, I was there. And now I started to care more about myself. This is my body. I need to grow spiritually, and I need to build my confidence. And this is my space now to work on it. And I like this so much because I used to bring so much on me that my chest was heavy. And I found a relief. Like I don't have the heaviness on my chest. I don't know if anybody can understand that, but like you were bringing on, and I feel like you cannot breathe. And through the practice, it helped me so much that I don't really carry this around me. And the biggest thing, I find that I'm not stressed out as much I used to. And that helps me with my family because I don't bring it on my family. Like I used to sometimes, you jump on people, and that helped me like to actually stay by the calm. The calm is just so amazing, like how you can, from not even 9 months, maybe 6 months, you start to see the difference between how much calmer you can get. And just doesn't get into you. Like you're just so conscious of things.
One of the things that you say is like 6 months, and you're right. The change starts right away, little by little, but it takes time to stay there. You catch glimpses, and it's like a little band-aid, but in order for this change to become grounded, there's no way to rush the process. It's something that you have to just be consistent with. So what was helpful for you of having like a community and a teacher that would show up day in and day out, day in and day out for like 9 whole months? I mean, like that's a long time. Some people who are considering this program might say, oh my God, that is such a big commitment. Like this is so much. What would you say to them?
I would not say don't hesitate. I know it's very hard. It's a commitment, but give it time. First, give it time. Give it 3 months, 4 months. I know it's money too, but if you're really willing to change and see the difference, you have to give it time and put the effort, and you see. I give you 6 months, and you remember, Sarah, you said even I started 6-9 months, you're not even there yet. And she's right, you're not even there yet, but you know what, you will see the difference. It's just that it takes time.
Then we finished the program, and then I moved to Utah, and I didn't have another program for you to continue because I was kind of like on break, and I didn't have my second. I have 3 levels of yoga teacher training program: level 1, level 2, level 3. But that year I took a break. So then you wanted to continue to study, and you went to a different school to do your 300-hour. Can you talk a little bit about what you found out there? Like now that you have a point of reference with other yoga teacher training programs, why this one? What was different about this one?
First of all, I use small groups, and I really like that. And like I went to the other school. There was like almost 25 people, which it's a zoo. So there's no comparison. It's in the small group. I mean, it's like, I don't know, you get so much inspiration, so much, like spiritual growth. Like I was there. I learned. I'm not saying I didn't learn, but what I learned the year I was with you, it's like
Yeah. And, I know that because I actually have completed 5 different yoga teacher certification trainings myself. And the reason that I created the format that I created, even though it's slow paced like a turtle, is because, a lot of the times I was experiencing these long days or these long weekends and these immersions, of like putting all of the knowledge in just a few days to kind of check off the hours that are required for certification. Can you talk a little bit about what happens long days, long weekends, or immersions of like 10 days to get all the hours in versus what happens when you go slow and steady over 9 months?
Yeah, yeah. First thing I noticed, that was first weekend for 2 days, you in a group for 8, 9 hours. And after 3 hours, you start feeling like you don't even want to be there because your body that can't take it no more, especially if you sit and you want to learn, but it's after 3 hours, you're basically done. You don't want to, it's just your brain doesn't even absorb no more. You're tired. And I mean, the way you have the practice ready, and then after that, we go to the books, we learn. It's so much better. Like here, it was backwards. You sit for so many hours, and then you maybe do the practice for 20 minutes. And for me, it was not enough.
Yeah.
I just like the 90 minutes practice because it just, maybe just me, but the 90 minutes practice, I think you need it because you also learn a lot from the practice.
Yeah.
And then you can go ahead and we can go to the anatomy, or we went to the other books, spiritual books, which they also help you to find yourself, to raise your vibrations, like even the niyamas, yamas you learn. Some people even like you go to the schools and you learn that you don't need them no more. Like I learned from the other schools that you don't need this stuff. Like, is it that a lot of teachers? Yes, a lot of teachers will tell you that that's not necessary. And
no, I've never heard that before. You're serious?
Yes, I did heard that. Yes.
That's the mean my Saturday class. That's what we do, right? Again and again, even yoga teacher training.
Yes.
More in depth in yoga teacher training, but to me, that's the foundation. It's one of the.
That's why the foundation you have to learn, and I think that's very important. And
yeah, we're talking about 2 on level 1, which is another foundational book that's so inspiring. And so what Renata's making reference to is the classes, the way that they work when we do the yoga teacher training is, now that it's online, it's actually 3.5 hours. And so we do 90-minute practice, and then we have a little break. I want people to have a little snack, a little drink of water, kind of just get settled. And then we have the lectures. And so what that allows is it cleanses the energy of whatever you've been doing through the day, the week, whatever. You come to a neutral place. You take a little break, you have a snack. Now your body's in a receptive, relaxed, happy place in order to absorb whatever knowledge and lecture you're going to receive. And it's not just the knowledge and the like intellectual, like reading of the book, but it's like an energy transmission that you need to be receiving from your teacher. And you could only receive that if you're in the right receptive place, not if you are in a stressed out place, tired, sitting on the floor for 8 hours. There's only so much that you're open to receive because you have all of the stuff that's kind of blocking the transmission. Okay. What would you say to someone who is considering this program and maybe it's worried about the money, it's worried about the time, the money specifically? Like sometimes some people get so worried, like this is so much, it feels like a huge investment. Is it worth it?
From what I know, this is not a lot of money because all the yoga teacher training teachers charge around that much money. So I don't think it's that much money to consider. And if you're willing to try and you have the strength and power to give it time, try, and you will see the difference. It's just that, it has to you got to follow your heart. And so as I did, and I don't have regrets.
Good. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us, Renata. I hope this is inspiring to anyone watching this who's considering the program. Thank you so much for watching, everyone.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.